Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zombies Love Bacon podcast. This is episode 18, season 2. We are back. It turns out last week it was just enough internet for a week off, and now we're back. Not that I'm sure everyone's been on the internet since, but whatever. I am joined again today by my co-host Shelby.
Hi, I'm hungry.
Hi, hungry. And making his grand return from I don't know how many episodes away, definitely not lured in here by the chance of Fortnite, is Frog.
Someone say Fortnite. Someone say Fortnite. Hello.
For some reason we're playing Fortnite again. I don't even know how that happened. Actually, I know how it happened for me. Fortnite. Frog messaged me and said Fortnite, and I said okay.
And then you said Fortnite, I said okay, and downloaded Fortnite for the first time.
Although we did talk about it on the podcast the other week. But
Did we? Yeah, we did. Yeah,
we did. So I don't know. Obviously, Frog listens to all the episodes of the podcast, and I don't know. People know Frog has a tendency to sign up and say that he's coming to the podcast and just not show up. So we were very close to putting out like a missing persons, call to the police because it was getting a bit concerning. Yeah, Tame was a little bit disappointed when he didn't show up last week. He wanted to know what the hell you were talking about, the manouche.
The manouche. Well, yeah, I've been busy. I've got IRL. So I've been very busy the last.
You are a very busy boy. You did tell us yesterday all about people getting electrocuted. So
yes, I'm training to do my pre-app for Sparky work. So I'm at work 5 days a week, and then 2 of those days I leave work, go to study for another 5 hours at a night class, and then I spend all day Saturday at a class as well. So I really only have like 2 days where I'm on my computer now.
Yeah, so that's it. And then every other moment spent playing Hearts of Iron.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or watching Hearts of Iron videos.
Now Fortnite as well.
So good, the Hearts of Iron videos. So good.
It's a definite niche you don't know exists until someone sends you a video. Go, look at this. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then you get nothing but Hearts of Iron videos recommended to you for the next 3 days.
If you watch them, right, you get into it. It's so fun. Like I just watched a 100 player multiplayer game, and it was sick. There was like some child was like was playing as the Duke of Austria or whatever the fuck, and it was just like, and he was very important to the war, and he was leading like this war council and with all these like seasoned RPs.
It's always a question of how did that come about? Like, at what point did they all decide it's like, all right, we got to play this Hearts of Iron game. We're going to role play in it.
It's such a cool idea, though. Such a cool idea.
I think that's like one of the rules of the internet. No matter where it is, some people will attempt to roleplay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of the internet, isn't it? Is you find other people that are into it. And
like games and like forums and like Habbo Hotel, which is where I grew up learning how to roleplay. People do it on like in virtual reality. People do it in IMVU
so
and
much
all that.
When you say Habbo Hotel and roleplay in the same sentence.
Sorry, I'll make it worse. I was Habbo Hotel Star Wars roleplay.
That made it better because I thought it was going the other way. You're like,
no, it was.
I ran the seedy hotel in her.
It was actually weirdly intense and organized.
By the hour.
I mean, we can't really talk nowadays. We do GTA RP, which we talk about at length on the podcast. Try not to confuse everyone who listens, but we do that sometimes. And then I used to forum RP, which is write stories. And like on the forum, just share stories with people, which is I think that's a bit more normal.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize how big RP is for the internet in general.
Huge, and then you have things like D&D as well.
Oh, it's like I rated the streamer the other day who was playing Life is Strange, and she was RPing as the character. Like she wasn't making decisions as the person. She was like, if I was this character, what would I do? And was doing their whole full on RP thing. And then she played it out and then like learned about the story and stuff like that. She's like, now that I know what's going to happen, I'm going to RP this differently because I feel like this would be a better story. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's kind of hardcore. This same person took everything that's in Skyrim, I think it's Skyrim, Skyrim, and more, like the extended lore of Skyrim, and then used a level maker and a mod to Valheim, rebuild all of Skyrim in it so that they could go and roleplay their Skyrim characters in a shared world in Valheim.
That's fucking sick.
It's like,
that's fucking sick.
It's insanity. And it's like, you talk to this person about it, and she's like, just totally blasé, like, yeah, this is a totally normal thing that everyone does, right?
Yeah, it just it just goes to show there's a lot of RP everywhere, and there's even I see RPers on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook.
There's
People
RPers in New World.
Yeah, just everywhere. So if it's not that bad.
Apparently, RPing in New World's like the new hotness. A lot of people are starting to do it just to prolong that game.
People used to RP towards us in New World, but we were just too memey to have any. I mean, our company was called Toe.
Yeah, we were role playing a bunch of.
I was Toe Queen.
Worship
Toe fetish.
Toe was an acronym for
too much.
Much erotica.
Did you say too much erotica? That doesn't spell the things I think you wanted to spell.
We were RPing people that can't spell. Oh man, New World's in a state of its own right now. We're down to one single Australian server.
And how many did we start with? 30?
Well, remember when there was 28,000 people lined up to get on fucking Yammer?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then everyone's like, oh man, good thing we went to Yammer, not Utopia. Utopia's fucked. Utopia disappeared. It was the last one to be deleted.
By name,
60 people was playing.
Utopia is a better name than Delos. They should have just kept Utopia as the name.
There was still 300 people playing on Delos. That's right, 360 people in total. It was peaking the day before.
It was literally the last one standing. It felt like a tournament.
A lot of people have gone to the US just because there's more people playing or whatever, which it's funny because that's the opposite to Final Fantasy 14, where they're like, oh man, we really need Australian servers. It's so bad. The ping's so bad, blah, blah, blah. Give us Australian servers. Where New World's like, here's your Australian servers. Man, we don't need them.
Yeah.
It's fine. New World's still fun and everything to play. There's just nothing to do. There's no crazy end game or ongoing thing, and the content's so slow to come out. I could see that. I logged into it yesterday. I was chopping trees just to.
You love your lumberjack simulators.
My lumberjack simulators, it's a great lumberjack simulator at the very least.
I feel like nothing makes you quite as happy as a game where you can sit there and hit a tree with a stick.
Still trying to get Twitch integration to work in that game. They try.
It's not working?
It's still not working.
Huh,
you know how it was there the first day of the beta, and then they turned it off because it wasn't working. But it's meant to be if you're streaming and you're in the game, you have a little Twitch icon above your head, and people can see your channel and you can go join it. It's all meant to be a content creator's dream, which it would be.
If they had figured that out early on in the game, they probably wouldn't have seen such a player decline as quickly. Would have helped.
There's a lot of things they could have figured out early in the game.
Yeah.
Even it's weird though, because there's one server and there's fuck all people playing, but I looked last night and there's still 8 wars coming up, so. There's still people that are fair dinkum playing. Even there's ex-toe people that are still fair dinkum playing. I think a lot of them join different companies and realize that those companies are shit and kind of don't want to bother with them. And they're like, oh, bring back Toe. It's but none of us are playing anymore, so it's kind of whatever.
Toe had good vibes.
Yeah, I'm considering jumping on for a night and just fucking around and doing a stream and stuff, but I can't go back to the geopolitical landscape that is New World.
and when we would play it from sunrise to sunset, basically.
Dude, those first 2 weeks of the game coming out were some of the best 2 weeks I've played on a game. Just
so many people
grindy shit.
So many people grinding and figuring out the metas, and just everyone was on a level playing ground, and the bugs. Now it's made so easy. It's like you need this particular item to craft stuff. That's fine. That item that you have so much of that you never use, you can now convert that into the ones that you use. And it's okay. There's so many different paths. It might be a little bit more grinding to do it, but there's so many different paths, so you don't actually need to interact with anyone anymore. Where it used to be you meet up with random people and find random things, and I don't know.
Just even just doing Amaranth multiple times.
That was fun as shit.
That was fun.
Yeah. Let's go back and do Amaranth. Let's do an Amaranth stream.
Amaranth stream.
We could start with our alt characters and just go Karen loves bacon, taking over Dallas.
I don't know what my character. I think I love Prophet. Yeah.
I had some weird name for my alternate to find it.
That game struggled. The Tane talked about it a little bit on the podcast and sort of have alluded to it, but that game struggled with that end third of the game. The problem was that people that owned towns and people that owned anything that generated money made too much money, basically. And then there was this whole element of people that were selling that money for real world money, and they kind of ruined the game there. Because then once you put that into the mix, then all of a sudden there's the political side of things gets real fucking hairy because it's they're talking about real money.
Pay to win as well.
And then every little Tom, Dick, and Harry got like boosted to the point where they were like up there level 60 and they were getting put in wars, but they didn't know what the fuck they were doing because they never actually did anything to get there.
They just they're like, my cousin owns this guild and they own Everfall, so he gave me $2 million and I brought all the gear. Now I'm level 60 max gear.
Yeah.
But I mean, what they do now is everyone's so fucking like topped out because like you do an M10, you get so many shards and you can upgrade your gear to gear score, whatever. Now the people gotten so good at doing the dungeons, they just get up to the end and then like 3 people jump out and 3 people that have no fucking idea jump in, and then the other 3 just finish the boss and they get their shards and they're done. They don't even do the dungeons. Just they sell that for more gold. But yeah, so it's like an economy thing. I think they just fucked it up on that end. I don't see New World getting a rebirth at any time, not without a wipe.
Oh, but not without a wipe or without a fucking new map sort of content.
Yeah, but like if they had a new map now, they got these people that have infinite gold and infinite shards and infinite weapons. They put out a new weapon, they'll just print it basically, 3D print it with their resources.
Yep.
So, unbalanced as fuck.
True that.
Yeah. But it's fine if you want to like PvP and shit.
What I didn't really like about New World, and I found it because the quests were always super repetitive, and it made me think of things like, RuneScape has a lot of quests that are dynamic and different sort of things happen in RuneScape, right? Like even for like the basic low level quests, like you're doing so many different things. But with New World, you'd always be like, go to this place, search 3 chests, go back to this place. There you go. You did the quest. They changed
a lot of that in the end.
Go to this place, kill this thing, go home.
Yeah, but they changed a lot of that too. You need to find this thing. And then it doesn't tell you anything yet more than that. And then this person's a random world spawn that you got to go find him. Things like raffle bones, which are little loot goblins that just appear in places, stuff like that. So I started to do that because I know what you're saying. Like, there's no diversity to it and whatever else, but like they've got more enemies and then more locations and more random things that pop up, and like they're definitely leaning down that way or making it more of a dynamic world, which they could do. Like they could quite easily just say, this area here got hit by a meteorite. I mean, we're talking about Fortnite. Their map changed so many times all the time, and that was kind of the thing, like, wow, they're gonna destroy fucking Tilted Towers. Now everyone's gonna land at Tilted Towers to see what's there now. It's that kind of thing.
Pretty sure with this current update, the map will change.
Yeah, the next update's got
every hour, so it like changes like every couple of hours. Like and you can be Fortnite, in the map. Yeah, you can be in the map.
You can change it.
Yeah.
But not only that, I mean, I don't want to turn it into a Fortnite podcast, but then now they've got things where you can leave stuff on the map and then you come back on the next run through and you get it. Like your tree. Like you plant a tree and
your tents. All that stuff.
And all that sort of stuff. But going back to the New World thing, like they've added these.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, we've added all these dynamic things to the New World, which is fun. It's all great for exploring and everything else, but they also killed all their fast travel stuff, so that fast traveling is so easy now. And like you can now go through all your different storages and all your different towns without any issue. It doesn't cost you anything. You can pull stuff in, put stuff away, whatever. Which makes it, why do they even have storages in each town then? Just fucking give you a top storage and put everything in one. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
People all that sort of stuff. That it was too hard, and then they've made it too easy. There's no.
It's not even too easy. It's pointless now. So it's like, hey, we put this whole mechanism in that's going to force you to walk these different routes, and then if you walk these different routes and you put it in PvP, you get extra XP, which means if you run into other people, you're going to have these real world interactions. And then they're like, no, we'll just remove that whole thing. Don't worry about it. Just fast travel everywhere done. And all of a sudden, people need to spend less time in the game, and then there's less people in the game, and so on. It's silly. But then, so we talk about dynamic stuff and everything else. If you go to the other end of the scale, which is like Destiny, for example, where they have dynamic events where they don't even tell you. Like they'll make an ARG where people have to go around their fucking towns, put together all these pictures and then just put them on Reddit. They figure out the code that takes them to this spot. And then when the sun's at 2 a.m. In the wrong direction, you look through this tree hole and then it'll pop open a portal. And when you go through this portal, you got to solve this. Like they make it so hard that people that are just playing the game completely miss out on these things because someone's like, yo, have you got this gun? It's like, I've never even heard of this gun. Like, oh, you had to be at that event where this portal opened and you did a triple backflip through it. And when you went through it, then you tap the ground 3 times with your left foot, not your right foot. If you did your right foot, you couldn't get it ever again. Like that's the way they do their stuff, and it's like the Destiny community love it because it's new and it's exclusive to the people that are hardcore, and they love being special. But then there's this barrier of entry. So it's like, like I agree with what you're saying. It is a bit more dynamic, but at the same time, New World's made to be baby's first MMO at the same time. So
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it definitely feels like that.
Yeah, but at the same time, there'll be people that play New World now and never ever get into a war. And now there's only one server, which is going to have all the people that run the towns in it. That's it. If you're not a part of those core, 10 companies, then you don't get to go to war anymore, and you miss out on that entire part of the thing. Oh, look, there's a lot of things like Reddit. Obviously, has their own opinion on a lot of things, but I was always of the belief of, that should be. If you're a company, then your company should be the only company that should be able to defend. And if you can't find 50 people, then you don't get 50 people to go on in your war, and like really make it hard to fucking win an area and do that. And then invasions can be whatever, just whatever people show up. That's fine. Who cares? But like, running a town, like because people run towns and they're like 2 people in that company own this town. Because the other 50 were the guys who like fucking PvPing, and they got into that war because they only ever do. So you end up with the same 50 people doing wars in every territory, and there's other people that are in these companies that don't even get to see war because fuck. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just an imbalanced game. It's definitely imbalanced.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any saving that, unfortunately. So we'll just wait for a new MMO, I guess. I don't know what the next one is. Next hype train is.
Hearts of Iron. Just Hearts of Iron.
No, that's it's not an MMO.
Okay, what is Hearts of Iron, and why are you so excited about it?
Oh.
Uber strategy, big brain strategy game. It's like
CK3, but war times. Like
CK3 cross Age of Empires, but war.
War. Like,
it's like set in the era of World War II.
Yeah,
and like a little bit before, a little bit after, and you can just basically change history and make it so like you got like a communist.
Let's get that whole
Germany
CK thing where
like
you have to get the people and like your alliances, stuff like that. It's big brain multi-strategy, 7D chess. Yeah, it's not. This is the thing, right? This is the thing that annoys me. Frog sells it as I just want to have a casual game. It's not a casual game.
It's not. That's as far as I gather.
I imagine people playing it and having 6 other monitors with the History channel open. Really, and they're rushing to learn history as quick as they can. So they know they make the right decisions, and it ends the war or starts a war.
I learned more about like fucking like how like things like the Spanish Civil War and how important that was to the outcome of World War II and shit like that just from playing the game. And like I shit I never learned in school about World War II is like I'm just picking it up as I play the game, and it's like holy shit.
Yeah, it's like history.
If this leader did this, then this would never have happened. So therefore, this does this, and it's like holy shit. They put a lot of effort into it, and then the modding community's taken that, and then
have you watched the show or heard of the show The Man in the High Castle?
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it. So that's the whole premise behind that, and there's a bit of sci-fi-ness to it. Well, but I won't spoil that. The whole premise of that is if America lost in the World War II, and then like it's like present day, and the Nazis run America essentially. Well, I think they split it up. Like Germany and Japan split America 50-50. They take over, and then they run along it. So, and the whole premise of the movie is that there's these people that believe that America actually would have won, and they believe that it's like an alternate timeline. Like that America should have won the war, and they don't understand why it is the way it is. It follows these characters that run like a sort of like a rebel alliance sort of thing. It's all spies and espionage in this world. Very clever. But yeah, it's based on a book, and I think there's 2 or 3 seasons out now. But it's definitely if you're interested in that sort of stuff, it goes into crazy kind of details and stuff like that. And
well, there's a mod for Hearts of Iron called Kaiserreich, which is if the results of World War One were reverted and Germany won World War One. So it's like the German monarchy, like, and then it sets it like just before World War II, and then the developers of the mod came up with all these theories and shit to like, oh, well, China would be doing this because of this, and like, all this crazy shit, and the world looks completely different. Like Austria's massive, Italy's kind of fucked up, and it's like all this shit, right? It's cool concepts. I like theorizing what would happen.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what this show is, and the books are really well done. I haven't caught up with the show, but I know the sort of the sci-fi-ness twist to it all, which kind of makes it more like it's not just a historic piece, if that makes sense. There's some shenanigans going, which makes it pretty good because I think that's a lot of games and stuff like that. They explore that whole German scientists during the World War created all this, all these weird gizmos and stuff like that, and some of which were pretty fucking out there, but because the war happened, then it didn't really come out or all suppressed or whatever. So sort of explaurs that kind of nature of it all. But
yeah.
Meanwhile,
I'm trying to Google where it's like streamed on. It's only on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's on Prime. It's a Prime show. Meanwhile, while everyone's playing super historic games and stuff like that, I've been playing a game where I'm a cat and walk around and meow a lot. That's a completely. You know what? The amount of people that are like, I play in the cat game and look at me meow, and then there's like cats that are like my cat in my real world sees the cat meowing, and then there's a whole Twitter that's cats watching Stray, and it's just pictures of. Anyway, Stray is a lot more in depth and quite a very good story actually. I enjoyed it a lot. It took me like 5 hours to finish, and I wasn't rushing. I was trying to grab as much stuff as possible, like collectibles and lore and shit like that, which is very unlike me. But the game is really good. I realized when I got to the end of it, I totally forgot I was playing a cat. Like the cat thing becomes irrelevant, really. It's just a means of being a small creature that can land on your feet and jump and claw and climb. But really, the star of the show is you get a robot friend who has some history to himself that you'll learn during the story. But it's all about the general gist of the story, and it's not a spoiler because you learn it pretty quickly, and you should learn it and forget about the fact that you're just playing Cat Simulator because there's 1,000 cat simulators out there, guys. But the whole premise is like in the future when the world was getting really fucked over, we built all these cities that were essentially in silos, and then this particular city had this like virus outbreak. So then they locked it down to try and control it, but in the process of locking the whole city down, this virus killed everyone, including the people running the lockdown. So then it was in perpetual lockdown forever. So then the only things that survived were robots, and they'd just been living in this silo forever, thinking that all the humans had died, the outside world is uninhabitable, and then the whole point of Stray is that you're the stray cat who's outside the silo who falls in. And then the robots are like, whoa, if you came from outside, then maybe we can go outside again. And then you go through this whole adventure of basically trying to stay away from these weird creatures that inhabit the silo and trying to, open it up to the real world again and let the robots out because the robots are sentient. And that's the point of the cat game, which is so much more than cat, It's just, it was great.
It is very cool. Yeah. I'm trying to find the name of it, but there's another game coming out that is another cat game, and it's coming out very soon.
There's one that keeps getting recommended to me on TikTok. It's like, if you like Stray, you should be getting excited for this game.
It's like a low poly kind of cat game. Like it's more cartoony, and it's
kind of yeah.
The
only other thing that I thought was really interesting was that PETA made a post, and we've talked about on a few times.
They approved it, which is interesting considering the scenes where the cat can die and like get shot.
No, they like that.
Why?
Because stray cats are prone to death.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, they're like, and you fight these parasitic insects, and they're like, yeah, well, stray cats, they tend to have parasites. Like, I don't think that's what the game was going for, but good work, Peter, you got this. But they applauded the game for being realistic in the sense that the stray cats are in a lot of danger a lot of the time. They have parasites that sort of, they get attacked by parasites a lot. And they like to scratch things. That was pretty much Peter's bottom line there.
The game is called Copycat, by the way, which is ironic.
That's not the game I was thinking of, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
There's a few going around. But yeah, so we talked about PETA, and remember we had the Pokemon PETA game that we were talking about on a previous podcast. They usually shit can anything with animals in it at all.
Yeah, like they hate Pokemon, they hate God, they even just hate on like celebrities who have like whoever wear fake fur and things like that, even fake fur. And they always make these parody games about them. There was even one that I think was like a Mary-Kate and Ashley dress-up game, but you're like dressing them up in blood and gore and like dead animals, which is kind of wild because they wore fur one time.
So going back to Stray, really, really good game, which is like in the grand scheme of things, in like the last 3 months and this kind of mid-year trend for us, that was the only game that I had on my list of like must play on release. And it was part of PlayStation Deluxe, so people that got the new PlayStation Deluxe tier got it for free. That's the equivalent of Xbox Game Pass. So I didn't even have to pay for the game. Finished the game in 5 hours. I played it for another like 5 hours since and got like most of the trophies. There's probably 1 or 2 trophies that I'm going to struggle with. One which we saw on stream, me struggling with, which we won't go into now because I'm still angry about that. And
what was it?
It's like go through this whole area without one of these fucking bugs jumping on you. There's only 500 bugs chasing you. It's fine. Fine. Anyway, and then the other one is finish the entire game in under 2 hours, which is basically just daring the fucking speedrunning community to speedrun this game, which is kind of clever. Now people have content on top of it, which is them speedrunning the game. So yeah, it's good game. It's like $40 on Steam, although I've heard the PlayStation version is superior in a lot of ways. So it's obviously been ported.
And it's in your PlayStation Deluxe?
Yeah, well, PlayStation published it, I think. I'm not sure. No, they didn't publish it. They did something with it. They paid money for it anyway.
Yeah.
They funded it some way. So, but there's a lot of PlayStation's like leaning into this whole PC side of things. Which it's good that they're not like Xbox. You've got Xbox Game Pass and the Xbox app and stuff like that. But the PlayStation's just publishing games through Steam, right? Basically anything that's got like a big game coming up. So God of War's got a new God of War later this year. So then old God of War goes on Steam. Spider-Man's got a new game next year. So old Spider-Man's going on Steam, so on and so forth. So, which is good because like I know that like Spider-Man, for example, it's a fucking great game, and if you didn't have a PlayStation, you didn't get to play it. Now people that on PC get to play this game, and you know, I'll be able to fucking mod it and do all this shit to it and make it all fucking epic. So cool, I'm excited. But Stray's like the first one where they've come out in a lot of different ways, and I think that's them testing that new publishing way of doing things.
So I sold a bunch of my CS:GO stuff so I could get some coins so I could buy the Quarry. Been looking forward to playing the Quarry. That's my
playing the Quarry.
It's definitely not a movie that you occasionally click on.
Yes. I've seen the I watched the prologue.
Wait, you didn't watch my stream? Oh man,
no, because it was one of those games I really wanted to play with no fucking context going.
It actually has a mode where you just like answer a few questions, like, "Hey, this character, are they hostile or not hostile?" And you're like, "They're pretty hostile." And like, okay, we'll sit back and enjoy the movie, and then it just plays through it. You don't even have to press anything.
What?
Yeah,
legit?
Yeah,
that's fucking sick.
I mean, it's an 8-hour movie, but yeah, you can do it. There's 400 something episode endings or something like that. I think
I saw 486.
Yeah,
minus Easter egg. So there's Easter egg endings as well.
Yeah, there's like I think that's when they say that there's like all these different compilations of how people. This person finished alive. This person finished dead. This person finished with one arm. Things like that. So
yeah.
And
this person, and then there's some mad lads have it. Everyone survives, which is nuts.
Yeah, and then some mad lads are like, "You killed your own people. Why did you do that? Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to kill that person? You could go back." And I'm like, "Nah, I didn't like him anyway." I killed one of the guys. I just literally shot him, like one of my friends. I knew he was there. And they're like, "Yo, man, what do you do?" I'm like, "Pull the trigger." And they're like, "Oh, do you really?" I'm like, "Yeah, pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger." Bang. They're like, "Are you sure you want to kill?" "Yeah, I do. Fuck that guy."
There's this YouTuber that my girlfriend watches, Daz Games, and he's been doing a playthrough of it. He normally plays like there's like really janky horror games that are like made by a developer in like 20 minutes.
Like, just buy all the assets, slap them together.
Yeah, he mainly just plays those games, and some of them are really fucking scary, right? So he does usually like 20-minute videos where he does like every couple of days one of those games.
Yeah.
But this is the first time he's actually done like a full series, right? Where he's done like full like hour-length videos, like chapter by chapter for the game. Yeah. My girlfriend's watching through it, and I'm just like, I keep like seeing bits.
Yeah,
so
don't look.
So I've already had like little bits and pieces spoiled.
Oh, so each chapter is roughly an hour long. You're really fucking stuff up when one of my chapters was 20 minutes long. Obviously, there was 40 minutes of characters that should have been there, but they're dead. I did stuff to it. There was one point, and look, for those who are interested, I actually uploaded all of my play to YouTube as well. So ZombiesLvBacon on YouTube. You can watch a 8 episode. And technically 10 with prologue and epilogue. There's one point in there where I'm like, shotgun, and I just shoot this person, and then the entire of my chat's like, no, don't kill that person. I'm like, why? What's wrong? And they're like, because it gives you 3 like redos, so you can go. All right, I didn't mean to kill that person. Let's go back and try again. So
that's actually only on if you get the deluxe version. You play just get the normal version like I have.
You don't get that choice?
My first playthrough, it only unlocks after you do your first playthrough. So my first playthrough, I'm locked into whatever I've got.
Well, anyway, so I shot this person. Chat viciously disagreed with my decision because I always thought I was being clever. So I went back and did the redo. The option was if I killed that person, about 7 other people die as well. Versus if I kill the other person that I had the option of killing, which I ended up doing after the redo, it saves like 4 other people. So the difference is 10 deaths, really.
Jesus.
And chat was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "That's fine. I fucked that person." But yeah, it's good to have a chat once you play through it a few times. I think I think the good thing of like being able to run through it again without actually playing it is you can just sort of play it out. And there's like presets. I don't know if it's a deluxe thing, so I obviously had the deluxe version because 2K were nice enough to send me a key. There's like presets like most gruesome run, please, and then like you get all the blood and guts and gore. I don't know. No, I didn't get too much blood and guts. There definitely was a chainsaw involved in my run there.
Yeah, that's the scene I had spoiled.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to go that way. Just that, like most people, they walk into the room, they're like, "All right, options." I'm like, chainsaw. I don't even look at the other options. Anyway, I think that
wasn't the option between a shotgun and a chainsaw?
It depends on a couple of things.
Okay.
Understanding. There's even like if you play your cards really well, I don't even think you need any of them.
Oh my god.
It's very well done. It's kind of like I should go play Until Dawn because this is like its spiritual successor. I haven't played Until Dawn.
Until Dawn's one I have played, so that one's fucking sick. It's pretty much similar sort of concept with like you got to find like tarot cards sort of thing, but like they're these little totems. And
the tarot cards are cool in the Quarry because you get the option to get a glimpse of the future. So like it'll hint something.
Yeah.
Did somebody say tarot cards?
Save your witch stuff for the witch episode.
All right.
That's a oh shit. No, not this week.
Summoned. She's been summoned. But yeah, it's a good game. I think I haven't played Until Dawn. I should probably play it at some point.
You should.
I've got it. I know. Quarry was good. I really enjoyed that game.
I
feel like that game, because it's so long, it's going to suffer because like playthroughs, like replaying an 8-hour game over and over again makes it quite difficult. But I think that game hasn't quite found its legs. Like I think it's got more to it. So, like it's a kind of game. Like if they made that game shorter, it's a kind of game where you can get your mates around and like sit on the couch and fucking drink beers and shit and just laugh at shitty things and go through this 4-hour movie. Because it's just that little bit too long. It's kind of sits in this area of playing like half a day sort of thing. I think most people play it in 2 halves, but yeah, good game. The Quarry out now. Definitely not sponsored, even though I was sponsored. The gameplay is sponsored. Go watch you can watch the entire stream on YouTube now, which people have and commented on.
Let's watch it like a movie.
Yeah, my decisions are questionable. We learnt that last night when we played a bit of Fallout, and anyone who looked at me funny, I shot them, and then all of a sudden I get into these awkward conversations all the time about how no one likes me.
It took you 5 hours to do 2 quests.
That's why the Renegade playthrough of Mass Effect's always so good, you know?
Right, but I never I grew up playing Mass Effect. I never played Renegade until we screwed around on stream and went the Renegade route. And then I was like so blown away by some of those sequences are so much more meaningful when it's you versus your squad mates and they feel betrayed and they're like bleeding hearts and you're like, I'm gonna kill you.
What's interesting though is like we're used to how you stream and play games now. So you're quite chaotic. You generally pick the most entertaining options, which is often the most evil options or the dumbest options. And now what gets me is that there's obviously some diehard Fallout New Vegas fans out there.
Yo man, do you want to see if you can help these people? And I'm like, Yeah, yeah. Like, what is it?
No, not even that. There's two people who came in at different times. They were both kind of offering to help you because they thought you just didn't know what you were doing, didn't know how to play.
I know.
Like, is this your first time playing? Like, you can help those people. They're really useful if you're helpful to them.
Meanwhile, I'm like, did you just look at me? Bang, bang.
And we're trying to explain, especially to the first guy, we're trying to explain, no, this is just how he plays. He's played it before. He doesn't need help. Like, he's just being entertaining. And one guy got to a point where he's just like, I can't watch this anymore. I'm leaving. And he didn't come back.
My bad.
He was that offended by how you were treating the game. Like,
I think I've talked about it before, but like when I played New Vegas, when I played Fallout, I played Fallout 3 and I did all the DLC and everything else. Totally just me on PlayStation 3 playing it by myself and fucking loved it. Played New Vegas, same sort of thing. The only problem was that the more you play Bethesda games, the larger your save file gets. And when I get to a certain size, particularly on PS3, shit starts to break. And when I got to like that final kind of battles that were happening in New Vegas, my PlayStation 3 was running at about 4 frames a second, maybe 3, maybe 1. And it was like getting to slideshow territory. And you have to like go and see the big bad. And you have to choose a path. You're like, who do you support? Do you support the NCR or the Legion? Blah blah blah. And my frames were so bad. I'm like, neither. I just shot him in the head, and then that's an ending where you just kill everyone. Yeah. And because I'm just like, I just need this game to finish so I can get to the end because the game's breaking. And then I'm like, 10 years later, I'm playing it on PC now. Everything kind of works, although it plays like a 10-year-old PC game. Just shooting everyone in the head. But that guy was like, yo, man, he's like, oh, I can help you find this robot. He's really helpful. You fix stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, we'll just sort of just started playing, mate. So, if I see him, we'll see what happens, eh? And he's like, but you've got all this gear. How did you get all this gear? I'm like, I killed everyone. Like, oh, fair enough.
How did you get that helmet?
He's like, you can go to this town and they'll help you. I'm like, no, that town doesn't exist anymore.
I feel like there's a certain type of player who, in those sort of games who won't enjoy your streams. Like, obviously, we found the super pedantic players who just wanted to...
okay, so that's the way I play games. Because I play games, even those games that are a bit slower, I will play whatever the quick and easy and entertaining way, essentially, right? That's just me, because I get bored of games that drag on too long or, and it's no fault to a game that's 10 years old. They have limitations. They can only do so much. I mean, they literally put an auto run feature in Fallout for a reason, because you spend a lot of your time just walking through dirt, which is what it is. If you wanted to flip on, like a friend of mine who's a streamer as well, who Namaroff, who a lot of people who know me or know my streaming know Nam. We used to stream Apex together way back in the day. He is Lawman. All right, so he played what's the Kojima game with the baby and stuff like that? The walking simulator.
Death Stranding?
He played Death Stranding.
Yep.
Where he did everything. So he did all the side quests, and he'd stop and he would read the lore aloud, to read out the lore for everyone in chat, do all the side quests, do everything else. 270 hours, I want to say, it took him to finish the entire game. Stayed away from spoilers, did everything, legit, knows everything about it, right?
Jesus.
Did a tweet at the end saying, I fucking finished it, I did everything. What a wild ride, an amazing story. Even Kojima liked his tweet. That's the fucking icing on the cake. When the guy who created the whole mess that you just went through likes what you've done because you've done it all properly, you've done it, right. He went through and he's down The Witcher now, where he's done the same sort of thing through The Witcher, and now he's role-playing as The Witcher playing Elden Ring. And like, hats off to Nam's a fucking legend in my books. Like, the man, he's just a top bloke. And it's like he's like the polar opposite of my streams, where I did the stupid shit where he would be in character, in law biting, fucking like everything's law friendly and like played properly and done in depth, and fantastic streamer, in my opinion. So he has his own fans and stuff for that reason, and I'm sure that people that like the shit that I do probably don't like the shit that he does, because we're just very different.
Did you ever think of trying out Elden Ring? Do you ever think of playing that?
Well,
I played a little bit of it.
We went through that wild ride, which was we did Bloodborne, because we were picking games with a randomizer. So we played Bloodborne, which Bloodborne has never interested me, like, at all. I've seen a couple of people stream bits and pieces here. I know Jen's streamed it, and I really enjoyed her streams of it. But she plays like she's got the skills, to do like the dodging and the rolling and the bosses and stuff like that. I fucking loved Bloodborne. That was a fucking good game. It's held back a little bit just by age, I think. But if like they did a remake that was 60 frames and a little bit cleaned up and just that sort of thing, fantastic. Although I had no idea what I was doing 99% of the time. Shooting those enemies and like killing big fucking things that should be killing me was just so satisfying. So Bloodborne gets a big tick, and rumors are they're making a sequel, which why wouldn't they? I'd probably play it from that. The only thing that annoyed me was like there is no direction into sort of level design. You just kind of explore until you find something and hope that it's the right something and not the wrong something, and the wrong something will kill you immediately. Totally fine. Went and played Dark Souls. Again, by the randomizer, wanted to kill me, I think. The randomizer picked Dark Souls 2. We fired it up. Fuck, I hated that game. I knew I hated that game, but then when I played it, I hated that game. It was just too... It wasn't even unforgiving. It was mockingly unforgiving. Like, it would just kill you and then mock you and then make you spawn there again and then kill you and then teabag you, basically. I'm like, why? Who loves this cock and ball torture this much? This is ridiculous. And like, as soon as you think that you've like get through this room, the next room has the same enemy, but 30 of them now, and they'll kill you even quicker. It's like, why? What am I meant to be doing? Am I doing something wrong? The game doesn't tell you if you're doing right or wrong. It just punishes you for playing it. And I hate that. So when Elden Ring came out and I looked at it, and it's got all these positives, a lot of pros to it, a lot of things that are much better than what Dark Souls has to offer, or even Bloodborne has to offer. I still can't help but feel like it's still that cock and ball torture where the game's just going to mock you for walking left when you should have went right. Not that it told you to go either way. It's just like, yeah, man, here's the game, and then it's like a invisible electric fences all around you. Like, you went left. Like, was I meant to go left? Like, I'm telling. It's basically what the game does. So
Elden Ring kind of holds your hand a little bit more than other games, than like Dark Soulsy ones. But like fucking, from what I play, I'm not a massive like pro fucking dodge roll king. You can probably tell just from how I played New World. I was never fucking good.
What do you mean, healer?
But like it was forgiving enough so that I wanted to keep playing it. But then it was like I would get to a point where it's like I'm doing the same fucking thing, and then it's like, do I have to go grind?
The only this is it. This is the difference, right? And this is where I might play Elden Ring. Is there is an option to grind levels.
Yes, and that's what I was like. There is parts where like that first big boss you come up against is the hardest boss like. All my mates have said it's the hardest boss they fought. Yeah. It's the first one because you're so underleveled when you get to him, and it's like, okay, well, how do I go do it? Okay, just go grind for ages.
Yeah, basically. The whole thing is you just explore, and then anything too difficult, you get the fuck out of there, and then you just do that, and then you play an entire game of cat and mouse. Of the game's going to cock you if you make a wrong turn, but if you keep going the right way that you don't know, you'll level up and eventually get strong enough.
I was like cheesing XP by like riding around on my horse.
And I've seen so many cheeses, and I'm like, I would 100% cheese this game.
I'm just like riding up behind those big like giant golem things and just slapping them in the ankles because they can't like attack you quick enough because you're on the horse. Yeah. So I'm just like swinging, could just do laps of them fucking cutting their feet.
There's so many Easter eggs as well, and so many different things like people have found like of easy ways of killing things and farming runes and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, if someone was like, if a fan of my channel had the channel points and said, I wanted you to try Elden Ring, I would try Elden Ring. Like, it's in that realm of, yeah, okay, I'll give it a go. But if someone said, play Dark Souls 3, I'd be like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. We've been down Dark Souls. We know that. We know what's down that route. It's pain. The only thing I would say is, have you seen the Let Me Solo Her? The whole...
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that.
Yeah, so let me solo her, who's basically like a co-op player who just has been jumping into people's games and like finishing the game for them or killing the boss without getting hit and not wearing any armor, just, blade and a pot on their head. I think they celebrated 1,000 defeats or something recently by Let Me Solo, and the game devs sent them a sword.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I'm like, that is going right back to the start of the podcast when we're talking about, there's a niche for everyone. That is the niche, the Soulsborne niche right there. is Let Me Solo Her, which is a guy who lives, or girl, who fucking knows, who lives to play Dark Souls games and has learnt to play them very well and has built their entire whatever on it. Not for me though. It's just not for me in general. I think, I don't know. I'd be curious. I have a curious question. I'm not picking on Shelby in particular, but I'm picking on Shelby. But like, would Shelby ever play like any of these sort of games we're talking about?
No way. Nah. I like to enjoy games by them not being too difficult, and games that are specifically angled towards being harder and difficult and like being sweaty, which I consider those games to fall under. Not my thing.
Yeah, and I'm not picking on you, Shelby, but I put you under you have your niche and you stay in it.
Sort of, yeah. Sometimes I venture out, but right now I'm playing a bit of Wobble Dogs,
which is 100% in your niche.
Yeah. So if you don't know what Wobble Dogs is, Wobble Dogs is a sandbox game where you start off with a dog, and then you can breed the dog and mutate it to have different traits. And it gets to a point where people make all sorts of insane creations. Like you'll have like an 8-legged dog with 2 heads and like horns and wings and a big tail. And
I will say that I played Wobble Dogs and I made very long and skinny, tiny legs and tiny head little creatures. And after playing it for like 2 hours or something, I got the concept. It was fun, but my God, it's stressful looking after disabled dogs.
Yes.
Because I was trying to find the nicest way to say that.
No, it's true though. I've gotten to a point because I've played. I think my save file is like 8 hours long at the moment, and I have so many dogs. I've imported, like, you get an achievement for importing somebody else's dog because you can actually export your dog as code and import somebody else's. So I imported this dog, and it's literally, the head is so small on this dog that you can't see it, and it has no legs, so it's just a cube with a tail. And I have to drag the food to it so it can eat because it can't go and get food. It can't move. So that stressed me out actually quite a bit. So
yeah, exactly. I think the fun bit I had was I was naming dogs after people in chat, and then they'd have certain traits which then I had tied to the people in chat.
Yes,
so.
And you also have to like watch their diet pretty closely because they can eat different food that also changes their stomach bacteria, and the bacteria makes them mutate differently. So that, yeah, it's a bit stressful, but I do enjoy it. And you can go on the Wobble Dogs Steam community page and see some of the fucked up creations people have, including dogs that are so big they don't fit in the rooms anymore that the game gives you. They've broken the game.
We're gonna take a little sidestep here to everything, and yeah, play Wobble Dogs. It's a fun game. So recently, I've been doing a lot of work around, getting sponsored keys and stuff like that. Obviously, buying heaps of games and equipment and stuff like that's expensive, and I'm a poor bastard, so I'm trying to get into the industry any way I can and make things easier. So one of the most common things that you have to do is you have to sell yourself, right? So then one of the things is explain your content and your channel in basically the shortest and easiest way. So Shelby, someone that comes up to there, like, what sort of games do you play? Can you explain your channel? What's your niche?
I have 3 niches that I kind of stick to. So there's like retro games, but also obscure retro games like Nintendo DS titles that are narrative focused. I also enjoy indie walking simulators that are like mystery / slightly puzzly based that have a good strong narrative as well. Or number 3 is like cozy dumb games, I would say, like Wobble Dogs.
Do you remember that I've been making up this game and mocking you with it for the last couple of days? Do you remember what game that I made?
No, do you want to? You can go ahead then. Go on.
It's a choose your own adventure, a visual novel walking simulator about a bisexual pigeon coming of age with their sexuality, and I feel like that's the perfect game for you. Would you play that game?
I guess so.
But not Elden Ring. Fuck that game.
No, but it also has Elden Ring mechanics, so it's like...
No. You just got to picture like every indie cozy streamer, their favorite thing. Oh, you know what? It's a farming simulator as well. There you go. It actually sounds a lot like Rune Factory. Rune Factory has a lot of those elements to it.
Yeah, that's Rune Factory. Also, it could be Animal Crossing because there's like a pigeon.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about the dating simulator side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. If they put dating simulator in fucking Animal Crossing, look out, cozy streamers.
Then it will turn into a whole furry thing, and then Frog can gift to
It's
his heart's
already
content.
a furry thing. Have you not
Actually,
seen?
good point. I've seen the Anka animation.
That's the word I was thinking of. Yes. Anyway, if
Yeah,
you don't know what that means, just Google it on
don't.
safe
Maybe
search. All right, Frog, your turn. You have to explain. You have to. Someone's come up. Explain your channel, your brand. Not to mention the fact that it had R6 in the title to begin with. I click heads and I Q and E.
I play one shooter a lot. It's clearly Call of Duty.
Really?
Clearly, no, it's R6. Play a lot of shooting games, but R6 is dying, so we move on from there. And
yeah, that sequel that came out, Extinction, was it? Fucking that didn't even make a wave, did it?
It should have stayed. It should have stayed an in-game game mode that you could play on R6. Which is what it was originally.
Yeah, it's a dying game. When I think I saw it at EB Games for $15, and then the original R6 was still $30.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Anyway, continue. So you play
a lot of shooters and bit of music and a bit of strategy now. Because I've always fucking loved strategy games, but I never played them really much on stream because you get people coming into your stream. And
this is random, but have you played StarCraft stuff?
No.
You haven't dabbled with StarCraft at all.
Nope. Have not dabbled.
That's where if you talk shooters, competitive shooters, and then strategy, StarCraft's the intersection.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's free to play StarCraft 2 now. Don't get the story. You just get the multiplayer. Anyway, just totally random because I've been feeling I'm playing StarCraft lately.
I'll give it a look because I've been looking for new strategy games, but
it's not new,
new strategy games for me to play. I haven't really.
Yeah, it's hectic online, but anyway, yeah, that makes sense for you.
And the annoying part is I've never really played many strategy games on stream because I used to love Civ 5, all those kind of There was one that that was a Civ 5 clone, but with a lot more features. It was Humankind. Humankind.
Yeah, Humankind. The monkey
really
one.
good game. No, it's just called Humankind.
Oh, Humankind.
It's such a good game. If you want a good strategy, Humankind, get it. It's on the Battle Pass app.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling us about this. It's on Battle Pass, on Xbox Game Pass.
I pre-ordered this, and I was one of the backers for the game.
Yeah, wasn't this the one where you you start off and you got to develop your nations and shit like that before you get? Yeah. I tried to play it. It was too big brain for me.
Rather than others Civ games where you pick a civilization and you just play as say China or America or something.
Sorry, what's the Civ game? What's the strategy game, Shelby, that you played? The old one? But you start
Rise of Nations.
Yeah, you start throwing rocks at each other and you finish nuking each other at the end of it.
Yeah, Rise of Nations is
very
so
similar
cool.
to this.
Yeah, this is this Humankind's the new version of that.
Yep. Yeah. You would like it then, Shelby, I reckon. But it's also rather than picking a nation, as you go and you progress and you upgrade, it's all about eras.
Yeah.
So you go from the one era to the next, and you can take bits from different civilizations and put it into your civilization, and you come up at the end. So you start off as a tribe, and then by the end of it, you're this multitude of different nations that
you create
exist.
Your own, essentially, yeah.
You create your own shit. It's sick.
It's big brain because I remember you told me about it. I tried it out. I'm like, no, this is too hard. I'm just gonna fuck this up if I don't even try to stream it. And then Shelby's like, Rise of Nations, and then we played that one.
Yeah,
and that just becomes a race to who can nuke what first. Which what is kind of a fun game in itself, really, because then when the nukes go off, it's who did that? Who let that nuke off?
It has a really cool game mode where you're given a map of the world and you have to actually slowly move into different countries and take over those countries with different activities. It's like skirmishes, and your goal might not be to kill everybody. Your goal might be to send in spies to take over specific buildings and stuff, and win a world war and conquer the whole world. So it's pretty cool in that sense. Yeah.
I reckon if
only
you
a
give
game
this
from 2003 we're talking about.
Yeah, I reckon you give Humankind a crack, Shelby. I reckon you'd like it because, like I said, there's a lot you can do.
But where's the bisexual pigeons in it?
They're over there by the mountain.
Okay. If you play your cards right, your nation could worship pigeons.
Well, there's a whole tree where it goes into different it goes into there's workers' rights. There's all this all like you could define your nation via like your laws, and as you play more, you can like put more laws in. So like you could make it like a law that everyone has to be a bisexual pigeon. I don't know. It's like there's like a whole section in that game which is all just about defining your nation, not only with the actual traits of your nation, but like what your laws are.
Here's a
Kind
fun.
of like Frostpunk.
This is a fun game for Shelby here. I remember we were talking with the Toe people, and they were talking a lot about Catan, the turn-based game. Do you remember that, Shelby? Have you ever played Catan?
I don't like Catan.
You don't like Catan?
Also means small.
No, I
in
don't like
Hebrew.
Catan.
Catan means small in Hebrew.
So, have you played Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, which just got a remake as well?
Nope, I haven't played that
one. Domini Nations, turn-based
Nope.
strategy. Okay, interesting.
You know, I've been thinking of playing lately though, and like it's not an RTS.
Hang on, before you get
Okay.
too far away.
Yeah.
These are all games made by the same developer that made Riders of Nations.
Oh, I should look into it then.
And they also made an Age of Empires 3 expansion, the Asian Dynasty.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of crossover between.
But they're
Rise of
still
Nations
making
Age of Empires.
games. They have Arcane Showdown, which is a real-time strategy coming
Yeah.
out.
They are RTS gods.
Apparently so.
I feel like playing Boulders Gate 2.
I have Baldur's Gate 2 on the PlayStation.
Yes, I
Ooh,
I grew up with that on my PlayStation 2, and I played it for like weeks on end, constantly.
Hell yeah, didn't we all? But there's a few of those sort of games that I really want to play as well.
Yeah, I remember though very strongly that they had a cool weapon enchanting system that you could like combine different gems and just like get different named weapons.
Yeah.
That I remember that being really cool. I'd love to do that again.
They're the same. They're the same. That's Larian Studios that did that. Yeah,
I think so.
They're the ones that did. Because I was talking about this on your stream. The what's that other game?
game.
It's fucking tip of my tongue. I'm trying to scroll my fucking thing to find
Divinity Sin?
That's it.
Yep.
Divinity. That's
Yeah, so there's a couple
Sorry
guys
to
who
interrupt,
we've met
Tony.
through RP, Saro and Ultro, who have been both playing Baldur's Gate 3 and Divinity Sin this week. So
yeah.
yeah.
If you two get Baldur's Gate 3, I will be 100% down.
Baldur's Gate 3 is a bit different though. And it's also very expensive with them. But I'm like, Sarah's like, yeah, you should play it. And he's like, it's only $90. I'm like, no. But yeah, we're talking about sort of those sort of games. That's where we lent into StarCraft as well. So there's that whole era of like Baldur's Gate 2, StarCraft, that sort of stuff are all that same kind of.
Have either of you played Divinity?
I have watched playthroughs. That game is hardcore.
It is so fun.
It's hardcore.
Very hardcore, but it's such a like the concept being like you've got like the 7 story preset characters like on that prologue island.
Yeah.
And then you like each one of them has their own individual story, and depending on how you combine your party, because you can only take 4 off the island, depending on how you combine your party, the stories for them like go like some way like, help out each other.
Party members can die like perma. Yeah. They like get traits and stuff like that. And their personalities and shit change. Is that the same one? Or
I don't think so. Unless that's further into the game, because I only ever really got like off the island and played for a little bit. Like I played with 2 playthroughs, one with Johnson and one with another mate, and we would just play for like 8 hours straight, get off the island, and then just never touch the game. Like, but then I know my single player playthroughs, I do the same. Like I just get off the prologue island and then just be like faced with all these fucking different options of what to do, and I just like I'll play it next week and then just never loaded it back up. Sort of thing.
It is the one where they perma. Characters can perma in it.
Oh, can they?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by it gets hardcore. Is like you have to actually like look after your character's well-being and shit like that, because if you play your cards wrong, they literally die for good.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's I don't know. It's probably not a game for me. I think I'd die playing it very quickly. Like very quickly.
Some very cool storylines with like there's this character that she's like hearing voices, and they're all represent, each one of the characters apart from one are like sort of like represented by these like divinity gods or whatever the fuck they are. They're like the gods like want to have an impact on the mortal world via one of these characters, and one of them isn't represented by a god, it's represented by a demon, and that demon's like possessing her and like comes out every now and again, like just randomly fucking murks people. It's so funny. Yeah, so it's a cool game, lots of cool stories. I much recommend. Much recommend.
So going back to the the explain your brand. My explaining of my brand to most people is I'll play anything at least once. That's my thing, right? Is I'll play anything, any game, whatever. I'll play it at least once. But then if I've drawn the line in the sand and said, "Yo, game is too fucking hard," or "This is shit, I don't want to play it," then that's it. It's done. It's like I'm not going back to it, playing it and stuff like that. So that's why the whole random wheel thing was so good. But some random stuff in there, I'd love to like do it, like get the time and energy to put like all my games, like retro games and everything, all onto a giant wheel, and then like, all right, we're playing fucking Modern Warfare 2 this week, and then next week we're playing fucking Donkey Kong Country, and
then Death Stranding.
Alex the Kid and Death Stranding. It's like when we're going from different fucking decades apart. But yeah, it is what it is. At the moment, I'm just sort of like, I don't fucking know what I want to play. RP's kind of whatever at the moment. Like, no one seems to be playing it. It's kind of RPing with yourself kind of feels like masturbation. It's not really worth it.
Just playing with yourself.
Yeah. Post nut clarity is really bad.
I'm just ERPing with myself. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Man walks on corner. Man drops pants. Slash me grabs.
I've just been I logged on briefly to pay our rent on our houses, so we won't lose those, but I've just been coding on my own stuff for my own server, so but other than that, not really doing much except for like Wobble.
There's no one else playing.
And Fortnite.
I've put like applications in with other GTA servers, and hopefully I can get into a couple of those ones which have peaks of 400 people playing. I'm just like, that's going to be so fucking cool. There was actually, I showed Tame a little bit like last week, but they have an entire like music scene. They have complete Discord channels where people release their tracks. They have launch parties almost every fucking day for all these different musicians in the game. It's fucking wild.
That's sick.
Yeah, it is sick, and it's all like it's all the stuff that Vince has done with Moe. Don't worry, like it's all GTA characters and stuff like that. They literally have like a couple hundred of them on the server.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, it's so wild. So I'm just like, oh man, imagine like diss tracks and shit. You could diss other ones and they'll diss you back. Fucking sick. Anyway, so I haven't really been thinking what to play. I'm feeling like I might like grab a long story game and like play that for a few days and sort of go through it. I've got a couple games that I haven't played.
Yes, Hearts of Iron, long story game.
Hearts of Iron.
It extends from.
I just feel like I'm going to come out the other end of Hearts of Iron with mush. It's just going to be brain mush.
I will hold your hand and I will guide you through.
I can see Shelby's put weird and wonderful wobble dogs in the topics chat, including one that's an orange box with a tail.
And it's got a dot for a head.
It looks like a tadpole.
It is a bit. I like the ones in the first picture because not only are those giant ones that fill the entire game and break it, but you see to the left there's one that's just really thin but really wide. It's
fucking just weird.
He looks like
you know what game?
Lego.
You know what game?
It looks like a book.
You know what game this is, right? Which has been pitched a long time ago, but just didn't quite take off. It's Spore. It's Spore.
This is what Spore wanted to be.
This is what Spore wanted to be. I remember Spore was like the big thing where isn't it the creators of The Sims or something? Like making the next Sims game that's going to take off, and it got super hyped. And I brought it on day one, and I played it. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's still fun, but it's definitely not what they.
It's not even fun.
I like it, but it's not what they
Sims
expected.
Games.
Also, it's super glitchy. Like it crashes so much.
It was garbage. It was hot garbage. It was before the internet knew how to cancel someone. They should have cancelled at that point. Now they know. Now that when a No Man's Sky drops, they know how to cancel someone. They should have cancelled Spore. There you go. That's the title of the podcast. They should have cancelled Spore. But so speaking of Sims, I want to sidetrack into this article because I really want to talk about this article that I spotted during the week, which is coming back to real world, away from video games. Rental ad is brutally mocked online after bizarre photoshopping job. It looks like Minecraft. Basically, there is a rental property for sale, and the furniture doesn't look like it's in the house. There's little subtle giveaways to the furniture being not in the house. It's been solved. They came out explaining what it is. Basically, they used paint, and paint has an ability to like drop clip art into things. So they just clip arted the furniture into this house Like there's like a computer monitor from fucking 2002 on top of a fireplace. It looks awful. It looks so fucking bad. We'll put some pictures on the Twitter, but oh man, the lounge room kills me. Got this huge couch which is smaller than the window somehow, because obviously they just scaled it and dropped this bloody clip art in there. There's a whole fucking business around like photoshopping furniture and shit into houses. Particularly Sydney's crazy at the moment because they're just doing whatever they can to get the prices that they're still asking for the houses. Gone over shit rentals of Melbourne before. But this is next level. This is a next level house. The Sims would look better, basically. But
Definitely, yes. I've seen a lot of these like real estate listings where people have obviously they have businesses they go to Photoshop furniture into things and like 3D model furniture into houses just to make them look nicer, but also give people an idea of like how they should look. But this one, and I love the story, is that this girl decided to do it herself. It's not her job.
Definitely not her job.
Definitely not her job. And she photoshopped a bunch of furniture in, and it looks like looks like if you're a kid and because like when I was a kid, I had these books that were like interior design like a castle sort of thing, and you would cut out pictures from magazines and also pictures that they've given you and stickers, and then you would like design the inside of a house. That's what it looks like. So
that she's got like a kid.
I did. So it looks like as
the Sims out.
No, this is on paper. So it just looks like, when you cut out like a little picture from a magazine and like stick it on a template or like a photo.
I also just want to let people know $550 a week this Photoshop nightmare.
That's terrible.
It's terrible. That's way more than what we're paying now for our fucking overpriced apartment.
Yeah.
And this is well, at least it's got good furniture in it. It's so bad. I'll post some stuff there. The only other thing I wanted to quickly bring up, is I posted up a little bit up higher in the chat. There was a panic in Mildura, the town that I grew up in, where Stranger Things came alive, and there was a red glow that shot out of the earth and into the sky and lit up the sky. It's Stranger Things.
My friend was posting in our group chat about that, because she lives up there.
Do you know the answer? Because if you do, don't.
I don't know the answer, so you go ahead.
I know the answer. I know. I want to hear what your suggestions are. Is it Stranger Things? That's a great photo of it.
I would say it's like a weird storm.
A weird storm. We're talking. Yeah. We're not talking like a bright, like a pink blemish or anything. We're looking
like a chemical fire.
The entire sky is bright pink red.
Yeah, I don't know. It
literally looks like it's been photoshopped out of fucking Stranger Things. It looks like someone's about to climb on top of the caravan and play fucking Master of Puppets. All right, this is Stranger Things, or is it something else? Frog, would you like to take a guess?
Oh, is it like the reflection of like dirt, like this, like the sun of the like? I don't know. Is it like some sort of like reflection of? Is there some massive red pile of sand out there? Or I know Mildura isn't desert, but so like
but it's not every night. This is not a regular thing. This just happened.
I have no idea.
No idea. It's funny because someone else posted something similar at a different place, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on?" This Stranger Things stuff. Everyone knows what red lights mean. It's Stranger Things.
What is it?
Well, none of you are actually close to it. So anyway, it's weed.
Oh, it's the grow lights.
It's the grow lights for cannabis. They have cannabis farms, medicinal cannabis farms. And
why is it so bright?
Cannabis plants require different spectrums of light in order to encourage their growth. A red spectrum light is often used. Normally, the facility would have a blackout blinds to cover down at night, and will in future have those blackout blinds. But for the time being, they didn't have the light. They did. So basically, there's a house that has a lot of big red lights shooting out of it, which normally would be a bit dead giveaway that there's a grow farm in there, but it's totally legal and legit, so it's fine. But yeah, it's cannabis. So fucking weird. But to see because no one knows, like they don't really publicly say, hey, there's a cannabis farm here for obvious reasons, and so no one really knew much about it until this big fucking red light showed up above their town, and everyone thought it was Stranger Things. So there you go.
Yeah, that's wild. Huh.
Yep. yeah, the fucking the lights are, yeah, I don't know. I looked at that, I'm like, what the fuck? I thought reflection as well. That was my first thought. But turns out that's just some big fucking lights, man. Fucking lights. So yeah. Other than that, I don't know any more topics. Oh, the only other topic that I had in there was the absolute splendor, which is splendor in the grass.
Oh yeah, mud in the grass.
Well, yes.
Grass in the puddles. I don't know.
Yeah. For those who don't know, it hasn't really stopped raining in Sydney this year at all, and it's just been nothing but rain and floods. And when they put a music festival in that, it also has rain and floods. Did you know? Crazy. And people have shown up to Splendor in the Grass, and there's a couple things, right? Splendor had a sort of a shit run to begin with because they had these laws dropped on them, which is basically you can't be under 18 to go to the event, or you can be under 18, but you must be with your parent the entire time, which kind of defeats the purpose of Splendor in the Grass, let's be honest. And then there's the whole no outside alcohol and no drugs and stuff like that, and there's been some monka shit going down in that fact. Not to mention the 8 to 12 hour line of people checking cars looking for booze, trying to get into the venue while it's raining, and while they're in the line, the sites are getting so flooded. By the time they got to the front of the line, they got told they can't even go into the sites anymore because it's too flooded, and then they had to go to a different site. There was the whole thing where they were like getting sniffer dogs to check people coming off the plane and head before they even got anywhere near the venue, and testing and checking them there, see if they had drugs and stuff on them. All that stuff aside. Splendor in the Grass basically became mud in all aspects of it, which has two different effects. There's like 50% of the people are like, yeah, it's in the middle of fucking winter. Of course, it's always muddy and shitty here, but we're here for the music. And then there's the other ones are like, why isn't this Coachella? and they are the ones who are very much having a bad time with Splendor in the Grass. Having said that, like they're there because they want to make Instagram and TikToks and dress in weird things and all that stuff.
And a lot of this stuff is going viral because of the flooding.
And now they get to film mud, and it's going just as viral, if not more. So fucking shut up, princess.
Yeah, I see a lot of people walking around with like the knee-high, boots, just trying to knee-high gum boots.
There's no gum boots for 150 kilometers in any direction. Every single shop sold out.
What's interesting as well, I saw a TikTok today where they're just like waiting in line to get a bus out of Splendor in the Grass, been waiting 5 hours. Like they're just everyone's trying to leave.
There was people that got into Splendor, like day one, it just didn't stop raining, right? And they cancelled a lot of their shows, and then some of the artists just like put on impromptu shows and went to some artists went to nearby towns and hired venues and did impromptu shows. And it just became a whole schmozzle. It's all very freeform at that point, right? There was people that got to fucking Splendor, found out it was a shit show, and they left. Like they just went home. It's like, what's the fucking point? Like, I mean, I get it, right? But at this point, it's an adventure, right?
Yeah.
You go drown in your tent in the mud.
I just opened TikTok, and the first TikTok that comes up is a woman going, when your bestie insists on wearing vintage Celine stilettos to your Splendor party, which is like some really expensive shoes, and she's in the mud and the heels are completely sunk down so that she's basically walking on flat shoes, so her shoes are fucked.
I just imagine people fucking like sitting at Splendor with their phone on TikTok watching Splendor videos of mud, and that's pretty much it. It's self-serving.
She's got her Louis Vuitton raincoat on, so she should be fine, right?
It's a shit show, but at the same time, people are like, "Oh my god, they're gonna have to cancel it." And everyone's gonna get their money back. It's like, no, I think it's just fucking happening now. Like it's like there's no stopping it. It's just whatever happens. That's it. There'll definitely be Karens out there that were like, "This is not what I signed up for. This is blah blah blah." But I think the people that are just embracing the chaos and have a week-long hangover next week, they're just gonna. That's just life. That's how it's gonna be. I've definitely been in a situation where like I've gone with a heap of mates, and gone camping, and then weather's gone to shit, and we got trapped and fucking mud infested and had to stay like 6 extra days while the weather cleared. It was a rough time at the time, but we got stories and it was adventures and stuff like that. But yeah, there's some pictures of like people like unzipping their tent and just a waterfall of rain, water comes in because there's like a foot deep water around their tent. Stuff like that, and it's just a fucking nightmare. You know what? The people that are organizing this event, I don't pity them at all because there's no making everyone happy anymore.
No.
Probably just put your phone on silent. hide yourself in a cupboard. Wait for the. As long as no one dies,
Definitely.
it's fine, right? That's the line when someone dies. Otherwise, everything else is kosher.
Mm-hmm.
Getting
Everything's
washed out.
fine.
Cars sinking, people sinking, events sinking, stuff like that. But yeah, I think the funny thing is just the Coachella people who think that Splinter in the Grass is like Australia's Coachella. Definitely got to wake up to what is actual Australian festivalness, I guess. I don't even know how much a fucking Splendor ticket goes for. A lot, I think. How much does in the Grass? Yeah, whoa, okay. Yeah, for only $400. That's for like a base ticket. Single day is $190. VIPs or higher go as high as $600-800.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, it's I'm sure most people have seen it on social media. I just thought it was very funny. One of the things I found most funny was like there was this guy that was just diving into a sea of mud, and it was like paparazzi around him. There was probably 50 TikToks getting made at the same time. Same guy doing the same jump into the same mud. Bruh. But yeah, people should stop complaining because your content's getting all the likes and follows that you want anyway.
Yep.
Let's go jump in the mud. But yeah, look, mindful of time. I think we should wrap things up there. I know that all our listeners are busy at Splendor in the mud, so I'd love to hear your feedback if you survived. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm waiting to see like the YouTube videos and stuff that come out next. People like, this is my time at Splendor. And there's a lot of news outlets and influencers and stuff that are there. So there'll be some great footage and shit.
Oh yeah, there'll be some good articles and stuff after.
Fucking oath. All right. Shelby, are you streaming this week?
Maybe, I don't know. Who knows what the future holds?
Want people to find you?
I guess I'll let them find me shellbunny.com or twitch.tv/shellbunny, or I'm always in this Discord as well.
Fucking oath. And Frog.
Hi. Yes, it is I.
Where do we find you, Frog? Because sometimes we don't know where you are.
I will possibly be.
If you need a good electrician.
I didn't even get into fucking electrical, man. Come on. Let's get electrocuted. Woo. Yeah. Yeah, no, you probably will be finding me at my course hall for the next end of the year. So I'm gonna be in a hole for a bit. So I'll be around. I'm playing games stuff. So yeah, I'll be here.
What's your Twitch channel, Frog?
It's Frog XOXOXO, but I probably won't be streaming for about 4
Isn't it
months,
XOXO, not XOXOXO?
It's
How many kisses and hugs is it?
we'll just figure it out.
All right,
People can figure it out, let's say. Yeah, that's me.
And ilati is
ZombiesLvBacon everywhere, and also ZLB Podcast on Twitter. So follow there.
There
I'll
you
post
go.
up some weird photoshopped houses, and the Stranger Things season 5 is being filmed in Mildura at the moment. So I'll post it up there as well.
And next week is the witch episode.
Next week is the witch episode. If you know a witch, let me know. We still have one slot open for a witch if we find one. Otherwise, we're going to have Vince here telling us about his Lebanese curses.
Isn't he his uncle? His uncle puts an evil eye on people? I don't know. Or fixes the evil? I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Something about peeing it out. I don't remember.
Yes, you got to pee out the curse. That's right.
All legit. Listen to the other episodes. It's fine. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Mwah.
Yeah, man.
Gotta kiss him.
You know.
Kiss him on the mouth.